Hello, my friends. Never look a gift horse in the mouth. When the government gives you something, you got to take it. I want to give a shout out to the US government, not only because they've been my clients in the past. This is an image from back in the day at Fort Lee, but because the government was ahead of the curve when it came to Agile. I know this might surprise you, but the government have out there the Agile Assessment Guide for free. That is right, FREE. It's absolutely free. It's 260 something pages. And I want to give a shout out to my buddy Scrum Bob, who helped me even know that this was a thing many years ago when they were working on it. And ever since, it's been out. And I want to introduce you to the Agile Assessment Guide. Not to be confused with the Agile Practice Guide. You got to pay for this one from the PMI. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this one that I'm about to show you on the screen. All right, so this is from the US government. It contains best practices for Agile adoption and implementation. It is extremely robust. It is 268 pages, and it was put together by a group of Agile specialists, professionals, people in government. Those who volunteered from the civilian world did not do this for money. And this is what is so encouraging, that the Agile community gives back to government projects. So again, a shout out to the team who put this together. Let's take a look at the content, very high level. First of all, you've got a background as far as why this document was put together. Chapter 2, you've got Agile adoption challenges in the federal government. If you are in any of the other governments in the world, this will be a great one for you to use as a lessons learned or lesson to be learned, and glean from what the downsides and the issues and the impediments were when they did it in the US government. Chapter 3, Agile adoption best practices. We got all the regular suspects: team dynamics, best practice, team composition, best practice work is prioritized, repeatable processes are in place, make sure the staff are trained, technical environment enables Agile development, program controls are compatible with Agile. Just make sure that you got all your ducks in a row. Organization activities support Agile methods. Organization culture supports Agile methods. Organization acquisition policies and procedures support Agile methods. And then we've got the best practice checklist for adoption of Agile methods. Chapter 4 is an overview of Agile execution and control. So now you're beginning to see that language to convert over from the world of hybrid or the world of predictive to a more Agile world. You're going to know a lot of these things. Chapter 5, requirements development and management in Agile. Elicit and prioritize requirements, refine and discover requirements, ensure requirements are sufficiently complete, feasible, and verifiable, and then balance customer needs and constraints, test and validate the system as it's being developed, manage and refine requirements, maintain traceability, ensure work is contributing to the completion of requirements, and best practices checklist again for requirements development. Takes us to Chapter 6, Agile and the federal contracting process. Tailor the contract structure. This is a great one for those of you that have struggled with the concept of contracts. In this book on Chapter 5, I think page 77, we talk about these contract arrangements, but it's not as crystal clear. This chapter in the Agile Assessment Guide will be a great one for you to hone in on and understand what the government folks are recommending. Best practice checklist, contracting for an Agile program. And then we get into Chapter 7, Agile and program monitoring and control. We got work breakdown structure in an Agile environment, which may sound like an oxymoron to some of you, right? Cost estimating, Agile measures, scheduling best practices, which I covered in my last video, Agile measures and scheduling best practices, which I covered as well. A little bit of earned value here, considerations for applying EVM, and best practices checklist for Agile and program monitoring and control. And that takes us into the final chapter, which is Agile Metrics. Identify key metrics based on the program's Agile framework, ensure metrics align with the organization's goals, establish and validate metrics early, establish management commitment, commit to data-driven decision-making, empiricism, of course, communicate performance information frequently and efficiently, and you got the best practice checklist. In the appendix, we've got the scope and methodology of what's being done, key terms, related terms, and so many other cool things. Right here, if you click, it takes you to the common Agile frameworks. And you see how long it took before we got to these frameworks, the timeline of Agile, DevOps, and all the other regular suspects. DSDM, Scrum is here, XP is here, principles, Kanban, everything else. But you see the buildup before we got into Kanban and Lean and all this stuff. We talked about what people generally want to know. How do we go from this world we're in a predictive environment, to this promised land of Agile or acute hybridization? The term Agile is not new. For those of you who already knew about the virtual case file project, and I would highly recommend that you Google the virtual case file project to understand one of the flagship projects in terms of Agile in government, because without an Agile disposition, the VCF project for the FBI would not have been completed. They had tried using predictive, and there was a reason why they moved into a more Agile approach. Okay, and this is why knowing about Agile in government is key, and it's important. If you work for government, if you're a consultant, if you are an actual employee of the federal government, highly advise you to take a look. Again, it's called the Agile Assessment Guide. I'm going to show you the link right here so that you can go ahead and download it. So let's put the link into the whiteboard, and here is the link. And just go on down to gao.gov/assets/GAO-20-590G.pdf. Okay. If you are looking within a Google search engine, just type in Agile Assessment Guide PDF. You can't miss it. All right. Let me know what you think of the Agile Assessment Guide after reading it a little bit. Let me know. And if you want me to put out some videos where I go into this even more, I want you to leave me a comment and I will do that. I actually have a 1-hour video where I cover a lot of this stuff in a little bit more depth, but it's probably due for a renewal, right? So let me know, and I look forward to hearing from you. Take care. Bye for now.